Fox Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
The first Sunday of fall, the NFL on Fox from Charlotte, North Carolina. It's been raining much of the weekend, misting. The natural grass field has drained well. It'll be a little damp and slick. No rain at the moment. Sean Payton said his team is anxious. They're hungry. They're up against it. Ron Rivera trying to keep out what he called the outside noise about the fast start, 2-0. Panthers won the toss, deferred, so Graham Gano, who has on 10 kickoffs this year had 8 touchbacks, and the last 2 years he's led the NFL in touchbacks. And there is Luke will take over on offense. And Luke McCown said, you don't last 12 years in this league as a backup if you're not prepared every week to start. This is his first start since 2011. Drew Brees again inactive, but on the sidelines, and over the 3 years they've worked together, have had a good working relationship. Last game that Drew Brees missed, Bill Clinton was the president. McCown to throw on first down and completes to C.J. Spiller as we check the rest of the starting unit for this Saints offense. And Spiller, someone that will be rotated in along with Mark Ingram and Kyrie Robinson, who Rondé Barber mentioned moments ago. And on the offensive line, Jari Evans, the right guard, out with a knee injury. Senio Calamente will step in, primarily a left guard, and backup center will start at right guard. Mark Ingram, the 2 Panthers holding on, gets to the 25-yard line. Tackle made up in the secondary by Charles Tillman, and the Panthers, with the return of Star Lotulelei off the foot injury, the first game for him this season. And again, A.J. Klein in the middle for Kuechly, who has been outstanding, with help from Shaq Thompson at that linebacker spot. And in the secondary, Josh Norman, who has been a big play corner and risk taker, as Luke Kuechly, who had to watch in the locker room last Sunday and help fire up the team at the half, out on the sidelines today. First third down test for McCown, whose pass is on target, and it's a first down catch just short of the 35-yard line. And Brandon Coleman making the catch.
Well, that's got to be a confidence builder for Luke McCown. Sorry, I knew I was going to say Josh at some point. Luke McCown early in this game, the guy can absolutely spin the football, Chris. So don't be shocked to see the New Orleans Saints throw this thing early to get him in some kind of a rhythm.
And his brother Josh McCown, who of course playing for the Cleveland Browns when healthy, said he got a lot of text and calls from family members when he knew he was stepping in for Brees. Ingram across the 35-36 yard line.
You know, you mentioned what this offense is going to be today. Last week against Tampa Bay, they got off to such a slow start on the offensive side of the ball. But when Kyrie Robinson came to the ball, they started committing themselves to the run. Even when they were down points, I expect them to continue with that game plan early in this football game.
Kyrie Robinson checks in on second down. No gain on that first down play. Cooks to the top of your screen. McCown under pressure, showing some athletic ability. On the move, delivers for a completion right at the marker at the 45, and that's Willie Snead, who had his first career touchdown last week, and it is good enough for a first down.
Well, you know, the one element that he adds to this offense above Drew Brees is his ability to get out of the pocket. I mean, he's very, very athletic. I was with him at Tampa, and he can absolutely move him in and around the pocket, and we saw it right there. One thing to note there, too, is you see his communication with his wide receiver on that scramble drill. I don't think many people would expect him to be that comfortable to do that.
Kyrie Robinson slips a tackle in the backfield. Here comes a flag, and he gets all the way up near the 45 of Carolina. Flag dropped at the 43 of the Saints. Our referee Ed Hockley today.
Tripping, defense, number 96. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
The call on Wes Horton of the Panthers, and this is a big gainer. And penalties league-wide, the most enforced penalties through the first 2 weeks of the NFL in league history. And both of these teams had their issues with penalties last week. Ball moved all the way up to the 36 when you tack on the run on the penalty. C.J. Spiller in the backfield. Splits out as a receiver. Underneath, completion made near another first down, and that's Brandon Cooks, who's still looking for his first touchdown catch of this season. Just turned 22 years of age, the pocket-sized receiver who can make big plays at 5'10".
Well, the Saints had a nice little shift there and got Thomas Davis matched up on Brandon Cooks, and if they can get that matchup inside today, they'll win a lot of those confrontations. Primarily a zone defense here, so even though Brandon Cooks is getting followed by Josh Norman, sometimes they will not be in man-to-man coverage all day.
After an 8-yard pickup, that's Cooks for a first down catch. Getting a lot of work early.
And he just flat out beat Josh Norman off the line of scrimmage here. Quick slant. You know, Luke McCown certainly looks like he has a lot of confidence in his arm, and Sean Payton on his sideline is probably about as happy as you can be that this offense has got off to this start.
Luke McCown is 5 for 5 to start this game. Said he never got into this business to be a backup, but that's where it's been for his career. Mark Ingram. A.J. Klein making the stop from his linebacker spot. McCown has played for the Browns. Rondé mentioned the Bucs, Jacksonville, Atlanta, from Louisiana Tech, and Jacksonville, Texas, and of course Josh McCown, his older brother. And well known for his Verizon wireless commercials about being a backup who sits around but is ready when you need to shine. 2nd and 7. Tipped and incomplete. Trying to get to Willie Snead. He had a receiver open to his left, splitting up the sideline, and Star Latulive is the one who got his hands on the football. So now 3rd and 7.
Early third down opportunity here in this game for the Carolina Panthers on defense, and they need a start. They need a stop here. I'm sorry. They've been balanced attack by New Orleans has gotten them in the passing game and the run game. Let's see if this defense can come up with a stop when they need it here in the red zone.
Following his first incompletion of the game, on target, but is it enough? Willie Snead looked short of the first down, and covering him there was Josh Norman. So it's going to bring up a 4th down and short. I know we're in the territory of Riverboat Ron, but is Sean Payton an early gambler here?
No, I think they're going to go ahead and kick the field goal here. Interesting to note, Hocker here, this is going to be his first attempt outdoors. Kicked in the preseason and in first game of the regular season in Arizona, and then of course last week in New Orleans. Let's see how the young kid does here.
And McCown will remain the holder. 31-yard try. He had a great start at Arizona, but a shaky game last week against Tampa Bay. And he gets that one through. The Saints score first. An impressive opening drive led by the veteran backup Luke McCown, and it produces 3 for the winless Saints.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com.
Rondé Barber and Chris Myers back in Charlotte, and Luke McCown 6 out of 7. The opening drive, it did look like the old Saints offense. It wound up settling for a field goal after the tip pass. Thomas Morstead kicks off, waving everybody away. Touchback at the 20-yard line. So Cam Newton will lead the Panthers offense. New Orleans winless, one of 8 teams, but on the board ahead of Carolina.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light. Make the right call. Drink responsibly.
Welcome back to a drizzly day in Carolina. Before this game kicked, Drew Brees told me it was an excruciating day for him. The first game he's missed due to injury since high school. He told me he can't stand it. He had to come out and do his warm-ups anyway, and also lead that pregame chant to fire up his team. The good news for New Orleans, Drew tells me that shoulder is progressing, and he's optimistic about playing next week, Chris.
Cam Newton on first down, flips to Philly Brown. And Philly Brown up across the 32-yard line, coming from his receiver spot. So much you have to worry about when Cam Newton has the football. It's good enough for a first down.
Well, this is a unique play in their offense. I have not seen this on film yet. They get in that bunch formation on the other side, fake the read option, and toss it to Philly Brown. It gets him in some space and picks up a quick first down.
12-yard pickup. This time it's Jonathan Stewart running straight ahead into the arms of the Saints defense. David Hawthorne making the tackle as Donnell Ellerbe remains inactive for the Saints. Cam Newton, 25 career games with a touchdown pass and run in the game. Second all-time in NFL history to Steve Young.
He is a unique talent, isn't he, Chris? The things that he can do at quarterback, I don't think there's a guy in the league history that's been able to do what he's done.
Carolina fans are flipping out over his performance so far. Pass is caught, and Dixon gets near another Carolina first down. Let's check in for a game break. He got the first down. Here's Kurt Menefee.
Let me know if you've ever heard of this before. In St. Louis, pregame pyrotechnics set the field on fire. They got the fire put out, but it has delayed the start of the game with the Steelers, so they're waiting this one out. Chris, that's a hot start.
That is, Kurt. Just when you think you've seen everything on an NFL Sunday, the field figuring in the delay of the game and the activity. Meanwhile, the Panthers on the move. Cam Newton, plenty of time in the pocket and open. Inside the 40 is Ted Ginn. Ted Ginn and Philly Brown, the starting receivers. Jericho Cotchery is inactive today with a high ankle sprain, and so is Kevin Norwood. Brenton Burson is up along with rookie Devin Funchess. And the offensive line, that right side with Turner and Remmers, did such a nice job last week against J.J. Watt and the Texans defense. After a gain of 18, Stewart works his way down for a couple. Kikaha, the rookie linebacker from Washington, making the tackle. And up front, we'll also see Tyler Davidson and Bobby Richardson worked into that rotation. The rookie middle linebacker who leads the team in tackles, Stephon Anthony from Clemson. And in the secondary, the veteran Brandon Browner, who has picked up a couple of Super Bowl rings with the Seahawks and Patriots the last couple of years. Tolbert in motion going to the top of your screen. He's the fullback. Cam Newton in the pocket, now moving. And in between a couple of Saints trying to go to Devin Funchess.
You know, Mike Shula's come out early in his football game. You can tell his first 15 play calls are unique. You've seen empty, you've seen bunch formations, only seen one read option, which we know we're going to get a lot of today. Just trying to keep this New Orleans Saints defense off balance.
Mike Shula, the offensive coordinator, every game plan he puts together says we just have to decide how much do we want to run Cam Newton today. On 3rd and 8, time from the pocket. Sideline throw is high and off the fingertips of Greg Olsen. One of the more sure-handed in the game. Kenny Vaccaro was back there covering.
Cam Newton had a lot of time in his pocket. This is his most reliable target. The throw he probably makes best of any in this offense, that out route to Greg Olsen, but good coverage. The pressure up front forced a high throw, and they get off the field.
Brad Nortman on, and Marcus Murphy back to receive a punt instead of trying a field goal, which would have been 56 yards. They pass that up for the fair catch, let the ball go, bounces, and the special teams for the Panthers, led by Teddy Williams, down at the 6-yard line. Luke Kuechly will take over at a hole, but the Carolina special teams with an excellent play.
To Today's game is sponsored by Chrysler. Celebrate 90 years of innovation at the Chrysler Anniversary Celebration event by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. And by Burger King. Kick off fall with a new Oreo Pumpkin Spice Shake.
Here in Charlotte, Sean Payton watching McCown take the Saints 67 yards on a 12-play drive, almost 6 minutes, producing the 3-0 advantage, but now starting from their own 6. Mark Ingram works up across the 10. You played Rondé against Luke McCown. He was also a teammate of yours.
He was, and in 2007, it's interesting that he's now here in New Orleans. He got a start down there and went 15 for 15, threw for 300-something yards and 2 touchdowns, and we beat New Orleans in New Orleans. And talking to Sean Payton, he said, I remember that performance, and it's one of the reasons I got him on my team as a backup.
And, of course, they drafted Garrett Grayson out of Colorado State in the 3rd round. He's active today. Quick inside handoff to Austin Johnson, who is from Hickory, North Carolina. And it'll bring up a 3rd down.
You know, they had 2 young quarterbacks on this football team in the preseason, and Luke McCown was able to beat both of them out. You know, it's interesting. We were talking about how he hasn't played since 2011. He told us the other day on the conference call that preseason games count. You know, and that's where he gets his reps, and he was efficient in the preseason this year. Over 68% completion percentage, and really won that job from both of those young quarterbacks.
After a couple of runs, it's 3rd and 2. McCown caught, and fighting for the first down is Willie Snead. McCown, with Brees watching, has been on target and good enough. 7 out of 8.
He has a really live arm, Chris. Obviously, the mobility is an asset for him. There's no throw he can't make. We'll see a lot of Luke McCown throwing the football today. I still think they need to establish the running game, but Sean Payton is not going to be worried about pushing the ball down the field with this guy.
Josh Hill up near another New Orleans first down. This is the crisp kind of passing. Josh Hill with Ben Watson in the tight end position, and good enough for a Saints first down. They are controlling this game early.
Very, very balanced attack, Chris. Obviously using the run game with some effectiveness, but it's nice how they're getting Luke out of the pocket to deliver some of these passes, keeping this Carolina defense just a little bit off balance.
And you saw the early commitment to the run game. That's where they've been going with Sean Payton. But he said if McCown has to throw 35 or 40 times today, that's not a good thing. That's not what we want. Kyrie Robinson in the backfield. And a quick timeout call by New Orleans. Saints will have 2 timeouts remaining here in the first half. A.J. Klein taking in the defensive signals and trying to figure out how to stop the Saint offense.
3rd-year player out of Iowa, man. He's very, very versatile. And Ron Rivera had no problem moving him into the middle when Luke Kuechly got hurt. He's been productive in there in his last game.
Luke McCown, now 9 out of 10. Brandon Cooks dashing to the sideline for a first down. What a game plan Sean Payton has for his backup quarterback against what has been a very difficult Panther defense.
No, you couldn't say it better than that. I mean, Carolina's been holding opposing quarterbacks to about 56% rating. And so far today, Luke McCown has bumped that theory, got off to a real hot start here.
Like 5-6.
Kyrie Robinson brought down in a hurry, run stopping, and there's A.J. Klein. A sprinter in high school, co-Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year when he was in college, and has stepped in nicely after essentially losing the job. Of course, Kuechly anxious to play, and they hope that he'll be back next week.
And you'll see him right here in the middle of your screen, unblocked, running through the offensive line, much like Luke Kuechly did in this defense. He is very, very athletic. You mentioned the sprinting in high school. He can play all 3 positions on this defense. He is an asset.
A loss of 1. That's Cooks in motion. Brees fakes and then flips to Kyrie Robinson, who is hit hard but bounces right back to get up across the 40. All that for a gain of a couple. And it'll bring up 3rd and long for McCown. Now Drew Brees watching closely. He's wearing the plays on his wrist and keeping an eye and helping on the headset with Luke McCown. Brees missing his first game, as we said, since his junior year in high school. And there is the play, but he knows these plays on the back of his hand, it seems.
Guys like Drew hate to miss football games. Makes you appreciate playing when you have to sit on the sideline.
On 3rd and 7, on target, and the catch made for the first down to Ben Watson. Looked like Tillman had a chance at maybe getting his hands on the football.
Yeah, how about this throw? Talk about threading the needle. Now, I know he can spin a tight ball, but look at this placement here. Charles Tillman looks to be intercepting that, and it goes right through his grasp and into the hands of Ben Watson. Man, that was a nice throw by Luke McCown. He has been very, very impressive early in this football game.
There's Charles Tillman, the turnover machine. Pass caught, quick throw. Down to the 45 is Watson again.
Last week, Drew Brees in his press conference after the game talked about rhythm. They couldn't get into it. It was disjointed somewhat by the Tampa Bay defense. But today, with the balance in the running game, the quick passes by Luke McCown here, and this is definitely a more rhythmic offense today than it has been before. Look at that. Taking the snap count. You talk about being locked in.
And a bruised rotator cuff is the official diagnosis. Remember, 10 years ago, he tore his labrum and partially tore his rotator cuff. McCown inside the 40s. Ingram, who is the leading receiver and rusher on this team, coming into the game as the opening quarter is coming to an end. The Saints have had the football twice. Carolina has had it once. Saints hoping to add to their 3-0 lead. Panthers, one of 9 undefeated teams coming into the weekend. But behind here at the end of the opening quarter, it's the Saints 3, the Panthers nothing. With Rondé Barber, Chris Myers, a fast-moving opening quarter, and the Saints dominating time of possession, lead by 3 and trying to get more. First down from the 35 of Carolina. Kyrie Robinson does a great job to avoid losing yardage and gain some. McCown 13 out of 14 in that opening quarter, hitting 8 different receivers. He said the weight of 0-2, he doesn't look at it that way. It's pressure, just enjoying the opportunity to start.
And it is a good opportunity for him. You know, sitting on the sideline watching football can be frustrating, but for a guy like Luke McCown, who's been into all these different teams, you just want this opportunity, an opportunity to shine. He told me he was really excited about it early in this football game.
Pass is caught right around the 27-yard line. Let's get a game break. Check in with Kurt Menefee.
Well, Atlanta and Dallas is the only matchup of unbeatens this week, and it's been a good one so far. Devontae Freeman, 3-yard score. Joseph Randle had 2 touchdowns for the Cowboys. Before that, it's 14-7. We're still in the first quarter. Chris, Rondé, and Jen.
Thank you, Kurt. And in the NFC South, the Buccaneers are trailing Houston 7-0 late in that opening quarter. Ingram the back on 3rd and short. Need to get to the 25. He gets the carry and gets the first down. All the way inside the 21. Time of possession in that first quarter, nearly 12 minutes for the Saints, just over 3 minutes for Carolina.
Well, they're winning up front is what's happening here in this game. In order to have this much success early in a football game, those guys up front, Armstead, Lolito, and Unger at center, have really been dominating this really talented Carolina defensive line.
McCown with plenty of time and all over the back. Here comes a flag, and C.J. Spiller was A.J. Klein. We've only had one penalty enforced so far today.
Holding defense, number 56. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot and an automatic first down.
Well, he's getting run by C.J. Spiller, and you could put that arm on his back, but as soon as you affect his body as the ball is coming in there, it is a penalty. It was the right call.
Mark Ingram straight ahead. It's a tough running down inside the 10 of Carolina. Moving, as you said, winning at the line of scrimmage. Ball came out at the end, but the official signaling down right away.
Well, you would think this Carolina defense, with K'Wan Short in there, Dwan Edwards, big bodies, would be putting up a little bit more resistance than we're seeing right now. If you're New Orleans, you're loving this start. You're on the road. You're maintaining possession. Cam Newton is standing on the other sideline doing nothing. Just positive.
Mark Ingram again gets inside the 5. He came in averaging just over 3 yards a carry, and today Ingram is averaging 4 yards a pop so far, and setting up the Saints. They're going to spot this right at the 5-yard line, looks like. And the clock continuing to run.
Well, it's a concerted effort to run the football, and we talked about it early in the show, and we're going to continue to see it.
Here goes Mark Ingram with blockers in front, and touchdown New Orleans. Mark Ingram with his second touchdown of the season. 16th play of the drive.
See Josh Norman there on the side. He gets caught up inside. There's some great blocks by the pullers, the guard in the center, and it's really an easy jaunt to the end zone for Mark Ingram. That Carolina defense got bullied for the first time this year, I think. Not only on this drive, but the last drive.
And
There's
this
going to be some questioning, yeah, for sure, when they get to the sideline.
94 yards.
Yeah,
I mean,
94 yards. Yeah, you forget that they were backed up to start this drive.
Just reviewing, it was ruled a touchdown on the field, and clearly Ingram is in. Extra point. We've already missed around the league more extra points this year in 2 weeks than all of last year for the entire season. At a 94% clip, and this one is good. Saints with a 10-0 advantage. They have Panther defenders standing still so far.
Today's game is sponsored by the Ford F-150. Every other truck is history. By Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. And by DraftKings. Free one-week fantasy football at DraftKings.com.
Drew Brees at age 36 congratulating his backup for the 10-0 advantage, and they've joined at the hips, Peyton and Brees, since 2006. What they have done for New Orleans. Tough for Drew to sit this one out. Whitaker watches the kick sail through the back of the end zone, and the Panthers take over on offense. Only the second possession for the Carolina offense today. Sean Payton said we wanted to play this game yesterday. We were in a hurry to get out and prove that we're maybe a little better than the 0-2 record. Meanwhile, Ron Rivera wanted people to tame the 2-0 start for Carolina. Cam Newton has it and throws, and there's Brenton Burson up from the practice squad and active today with Cotchery and Norwood inactive.
Well, let's see what kind of urgency this Carolina offense comes back with. Down 10 points. Really hasn't been on the field. We saw that graphic. They've only run now 8 plays. I don't think they're in a hurry, but I do think they need to get some points on the board here early.
Give their defense a rest. Jonathan Stewart the back.
Even tug. What? Even tug.
Jonathan Stewart and swarmed by the same defense. It was Cam Newton who said during the week, Rondé, we can't give those guys any hope.
Well, I think this 0-2 Saints team isn't as bad as some people have made out. And obviously, they lose on the road to Arizona, who was a really good football team, I think. Tampa wasn't as bad as some people expected. They came in and had a great game plan. They didn't win. The quarterback was hurt. But I wouldn't count these guys out yet.
Hey, even Florida. Right down. Even Florida.
Extra pressure is picked up. Cam Newton for Olsen. A one-handed catch.
How about the command there from Cam Newton? We heard him changing the play. Knew they were going to get man-to-man coverage. And Kenny Vaccaro against Greg Olsen is a mismatch all day long. And it's not because Kenny's not a good player. It's just that Greg Olsen is that good. What a catch there.
A 27-yard gain to the 40 of the Saints. Cam Newton keeps. And Cam Newton gets to the 30, but here comes a flag on the back end of the play. Cam Newton, when he's run the ball 41% of the time, he gets a first down. 2 penalties accepted on Carolina, none for New Orleans so far.
Holding offense, number 88. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat first down.
And the call is on Greg Olsen.
Right in front of Cam Newton. He's out here in the top of your screen up here. Or I'm sorry, down here. And then he gets out in front of Cam and comes up on Kenny Vaccaro and just arms outside, grabbing as Kenny Vaccaro was trying to come off that block, and that was a clear penalty.
Penalty backs him up at the 44 on first down. Mike Tolbert has it and is knocked down right away. An excellent tackle by Kenny Vaccaro, who, by the way, the league office sent a notice to him on the Saints saying our mistake last week on that penalty reaching low on the quarterback.
Yeah, that was a tough penalty for him.
That was a missed call. The league office admitting that, which helped the Saints, I should say, the Buccaneers drive for a touchdown against the Saints. And as we look back at the time, we noticed it right away. Mike Pereira right away supporting the call that he did nothing wrong, but it ended up being a 15-yard penalty. Nice of the NFL office to admit their mistake.
Sometimes they admit it.
Handoff, Stewart, fighting hard. He gets through the hole and has a first down inside the 30.
Tell you what, Jonathan Stewart, in his role as the starting running back, not having to share carries this year, except for with Cam, I guess. Watch this cut in the hole. I know he's big and powerful, but he has some elusiveness. He can get north and south as good as any back in pro football.
He's 40 yards away from 5,000 in his career. On first down, Cam Newton throws and complete. Inside the 15 is Ted Ginn.
You know, you get a quarterback like Cam Newton, he presents some serious run-pass conflicts. In this play right here, this run-pass option, he could run this, hand this off to the running back, or pick it up and throw it. The offensive line just blocks as if it's a run. Receiver out there running around. He delivers a nice ball here to Ted Ginn for a big first down.
A gain of 14 down to the 14. Mike Tolbert, following his blockers, gets inside the 10. Tolbert from Coastal Carolina.
This is a nice response by this Carolina offense. They moved the ball in their first possession, but being down in this football game and to come back with this positive drive here, some big throws by Cam. Got to be encouraged here on this sideline. Mike Shula's got to be encouraged on this sideline, watching his quarterback control this offense right now.
As if Cam Newton said, I'm not going to let this backup outshine me. Cam is 6 out of 8 for 83 yards. Tolbert, and with 3 Saints, gets down to the 5. He'll bring up 3rd down and short. 6:45 and counting to go in the half. A fast-moving first quarter and now into the second quarter. Stewart and Funches head in. Ginn and Philly Brown head out. On 3rd and 1, you always have the threat, of course, of Cam Newton, who leads all quarterbacks in rushing yards and rushing attempts this season. Cam Newton keeps plowing forward. The 6'5", 250 frame.
This one's close. You expect Cam, whenever he quarterback sneaks, to be able to at least fall for a yard.
It's tough for us to tell with all the camera angles. I don't know how the officials can see in that pile where they spotted it. Remember, that yellow line is just kind of a superimposed mark to give us a gauge. The chains will tell the story as they bring them out to measure.
Well, this entire drive, and we talked to the New Orleans Saints last possession, how dominant their offensive line was. It's been the exact reverse here for Carolina. They've dominated the Saints defensive line.
He got the first down.
Equally as much on this drive. Red zone opportunities, you expect them to probably run the football down here. But when you get a guy like Cam, you just never know. I mean, if you get him out of the pocket, he's dangerous. And we know what Greg Olsen is, a receiver down here. So expect one of those two to touch this football right here.
Rob Ryan, defensive coordinator, reacting to 3 tight ends coming in on 1st and goal. Cam Newton, open, Greg Olsen, touchdown Panthers. There is a flag down.
Pass interference offense, number 47. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot, repeat first down.
It'll take a touchdown off the board. The call on reserve tight end Richie Brockle.
Well, Greg Olsen's lined up on the right side of this formation. And he just kind of sneaks through the defense. Brockle is down here. And you'll see Greg Olsen come right here, and just the pick play.
You get a yard.
Well, that's probably the right call. I mean, he was up the field. He's clearly clearing out space for Greg Olsen to come underneath.
Jonathan Stewart fights hard, is knocked backward. 3 Saints on the tackle, and this negates the score.
Yeah, they had a nice drive going. You get a penalty down here, and yeah, you know, Richie Brockle probably should have done a better job selling that. He didn't need to put his hands on that defender there.
Olsen's 2nd touchdown called back because of penalty this season. Cam Newton on 2nd down. End zone, there it is. Greg Olsen, Panther touchdown, and no flags.
Cam Newton told us the other day that this dude, his words, this dude never lets me down. And he didn't let him down here. This was an outstanding throw by Cam Newton.
First touchdown reception of this season for Greg Olsen. Went to his first Pro Bowl last year. And picking up where he left off. Graham Gano to try the extended extra point. Snapped from the 15, from the 33, the actual boot, and gets it through. Just over 5 minutes remaining in the half. But Cam Newton and Greg Olsen respond against Rob Ryan's defense. And it's now a 10-7 game here in Charlotte.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by FanDuel, the leader in one-week fantasy football.
It's been a game of lengthy drives for each of these teams that resulted in the end zone. Olsen on the receiving end.
Talk about threading the needle. How cool was that release right there by Cam Newton? Completely flat-footed, Got such a strong arm, that guy.
And he is the go-to guy. Remember Kochery, who is thought to have the best hands of any. And there goes Murphy flipped in the air and lands at the 30. And Joe Webb, the backup quarterback / receiver, making the tackle, or Murphy still might be running. A 35-yard return.
How about Joe Webb? Big quarterback, athlete. Run it down on kickoff and makes a nice tackle.
We have to play with them. Clark Kent's not walking through the door. But Luke McCown is, and he's handing off to Kyrie Robinson, shoved backwards on an excellent defensive play by Elian Klein. But McCown, 14 out of 15, 100 yards and a 3-point lead.
Well, this Carolina defense, which is known for its pressure, has really not affected the pocket at all. This Luke McCown's been comfortable throwing those 15 passes. They're going to have to start heating him up here and get him a little off rhythm.
An anxious Luke Kuechly. They made him stay in the locker room to watch the game last week to keep him calm. Here he is on the sideline dealing with the concussion protocol. Strain and a flag down in a hurry, and so is the receiver. And the Saints committing a violation here, it appears.
Before the ball was snapped, false start. Offense number 64. 5-yard penalty. It's still second down.
And that's on Zach Street, who had such a rough Sunday against Tampa Bay last week.
He really did, and he apologized to his quarterback even for getting him hit as many times as he did last week. The one that injured his shoulder when Jacquez Smith went around him.
We haven't seen the Panthers put a lot of pass rush on McCown so far.
No, and Sean McDermott up here in the box is very creative, likes to design a bunch of different schemes to blitz.
Saw Davis looked like he wanted to change something, and McCown on the run. Here comes a flag down the pass to Brandon Coleman. Flag in the backfield.
Holding. Offense number 68. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat second down.
Tim Lolito called for the violation.
He'll be right here. I'm sorry, right here. See the Thomas Davis checking his defense, but they got pressure in the pocket. Forced McCown to spin out of there. Well, we didn't get a chance to see that, but he grabbed him when Luke tried to scramble. It was a clear holding call.
Nothing will stall a drive like penalties. Back-to-back on the Saints, so it's second down and 25. Luke McCown from his 5-yard line to Kyrie Robinson, who will be knocked down short of the 19-yard line.
Well, this possession, this Panthers defense is flying around, swarming to the ball. Chris, this is primarily a zone team. You know, they don't play a lot of man-to-man. They have some talent on the back end, but they like to keep everything in front of them and see it and then just react. When you get a 3rd and 21 situation, they'll sit back here and just let this ball come in front of them, come make a tackle and get off the field.
Need to get to the 40 for a first down. McCown to Ben Watson, who falls right at the 40 as he made the catch. A well-timed play from McCown to Watson. It's like where they spotted that, it's going to be good enough. And the Panthers are saying, wait a minute, they're already moving the chains. I think that's where Ron Rivera may challenge this.
He already did, and this is a good challenge because I think that Ben Watson was touched down right at the 39-yard line, right as he caught that ball.
He went to the ground to make the catch. He had to dive for it.
Carolina is challenging the ruling on the field that it was a first down.
Ruled a first down on the field, challenged by the Panthers. A 3rd down completion by McCown was ruled a first down to the 40 on the field, challenged by Ron Rivera, reviewed, and now they're spotting it back at the 39, which would bring up a 4th and short. Sean Payton was asking the official, how much do we need for the first down? So it appears Rondé, and you called it right away.
Well, in replay, yeah, Charles Tillman, right? You see, look at left arm on Ben Watson's derriere there as he's tumbling over, and the ball was down at the 39-yard line. This is the correct spot. You knew they would get this right, but it was a smart challenge by Ron Rivera because he was right there in front of it, and he knew that they were short.
Yeah, and there is the full yard. It didn't even look like that much, but that's what Sean wanted to see, Sean Payton, to see if he should gamble.
The player was touched down by contact at the 39-yard line. It's therefore 4th and 1. We have measured to confirm.
Well, he measured.
No timeouts charged. This is the first challenge, and the clock doesn't change. First down.
Here comes the punting unit. And Thomas Morstead. All right, Ed Hockley, we got it.
Yeah, I got it. I think if this ball was on the other side of the 40, you get in that 40 to 40 area, and that's when your mind starts clicking. Maybe I could do something here and take a chance, but 1 yard out of it, I think this is smart to kick this ball away.
Morstead averaging 43.3 yards a punt, 37 net. Ted Ginn back to receive. Looks like another penalty flag.
False start offense, number 30. 5-yard penalty. It's still 4th down.
Yeah, it's just real subtle. He almost wasn't going to call it. But yeah, that's definitely legal procedure.
Ginn, who has 4 career punt returns for a touchdown. Waving for the fair catch. And it hits and goes out of bounds around the 15-yard line. Excellent kick by Morstead. The Panthers, who had a lengthy drive of 12 plays for a touchdown the last time they had the ball, have the ball again. 0-2 Saints try to get their first win of the year, as are the Ravens, who trail the Bengals 14-0. Eagles leading the Jets 10-0, trying to get their first win of the year. Panthers with all 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning. Olsen has it. Greg Olsen all the way down to the 30 of New Orleans.
Greg Olsen down here top of your screen, and he ends up running through this zone coverage, and Brandon Browner just simply either forgets that Greg Olsen can run that fast. This ends up being a huge play for this offense.
The 2-minute warning. A season-long completion for Cam Newton, 52 yards at the 29 of New Orleans. On first down, Jonathan Stewart will lose yardage. Damian Swan with a terrific defensive play and a loss of 3.
Look at this. They're in 3 deep defense. Corner, hole guys, and Brandon Browner up here at the top of the screen. You know, sometimes you get on a tight end, you don't think that he's going to be able to run by you, but Greg Olsen with his athleticism and his speed really just goes right by Brandon Browner for a huge game.
Ties his career-long reception of 52 yards. 2nd and 13. Cam Newton for Ted Ginn. Out of bounds, nothing happening there. Good coverage by Delvin Breaux. What a story, Delvin Breaux with the neck injury in high school. It cost him a chance to go to college. Played semi-pro, Arena League, was with the Voodoo and Vipers and CFL. And Sean Payton worked him out and see if he could sign him, and said it was the best cornerback workout he'd ever seen.
He's really good, man. His tape is much better than I would have expected for a guy who didn't play college football and had to go through those routes to get into the NFL.
On 3rd and 13, quick shuffle pass to Mike Tolbert. He leaps over one tackler and gets down to the 20. Near a first down, but it's going to be close. Chugging along, all 250 pounds of him.
This was a really clever play call here by Mike Shula. They knew that they were in man coverage. They split out the offense and saw that the New Orleans defenders were tracking guys. He's just a little shovel pass and got a big play.
It's going to be 4th and 1,
yeah.
So Ron Rivera without hesitation, passing up a 38-yard field goal to tie. decides at the moment here to go for it, at least line up that way.
Their second. It's a 30-second timeout, and the clock should be 51 seconds.
Saints use a timeout. They will have one remaining. You can get apps, videos, and more at itunes.com/NFL.
This would be real important for New Orleans defense to be disciplined here. They're going to line up. I'd be shocked if he actually runs a play here. Expect the hard count. Try to draw him off sides, get an easy, quick first down.
He studies analytics, NFL sabermetrics. Riverboat Ron against the dude from the Big Lebowski, the defensive dude, Rob Ryan. Timeout called Carolina. We know Riverboat Ron. Nicknames are fun around the league, and Rob Ryan told us he doesn't mind being thrown into the conversation of what he looks like if the cult film The Big Lebowski, and of course Jeff Bridges' role.
It's the hair.
And just the demeanor,
yes.
You know, the style. I'll tell you, Rob Ryan told us that, he said, we're animated on the sideline, Sean Payton and I. He said, but, you know, I like working for a guy who's got backbone, in his reference to Sean Payton. And today the Saints defense has played with some backbone. Another test on 4th and 1. Cam Newton keeps, is met hard, but falls forward. Last time he got the first down on short yardage. Looks like they're going to measure. That spot looked pretty good for Cam Newton and the Panthers.
Just quarterback lead here with Cam Newton, and guys talk about having a tackling plan against this guy. There is no real good tackling plan against Cam Newton.
Well, you tried to tackle him when you played.
I failed pretty miserably
like
at times.
Many do. Don't take it so hard. You played long enough and tackled enough, and that's plenty enough. Cam Newton, I told you, 41% of his runs get first downs, and here's another one.
Hey, you see the guard pull. It's just power, really. And Humber hits Cam in the backfield. That any normal quarterback, that's stopped short.
Tolbert with a loss in the backfield. What a play. Cameron Jordan, who had been worked on over on the Saints sideline in that previous series. And the Panthers are going to use a timeout. So they will have one remaining. But what a gutsy call from Ron Rivera when he could have taken what looked like the easy three. Of course, his kicker has had a kick blocked in each of the last two games. But for the 2-0 Panthers, I think some wondered, are they really as good as their record? And you already said the 0-2 Saints appear to be a better football team than what they've shown.
Well, we know Cam is as good as this team. This is a Cam-centric offense, and he's shown pretty well today. But I am impressed with New Orleans. The way they came out early in this football game with Luke McCown, the balance they showed, the run-pass options were really, really good. They got on the board first and early, and it's made this game much more interesting than I think some people would have expected.
And taking the pressure off the New Orleans defense. 2nd and 12, 31 seconds remain. Cam Newton to Greg Olsen, who gets out of bounds. Remember, there's one timeout left for Carolina. Now 25 seconds. Well, for a team that's won back-to-back divisions in the NFC South, the Panthers, just like getting off to the 2-0 start, not a lot of national attention, respect for the record and what they've accomplished. Of course, Panther fans cautious about the fast start because last year they were in this spot before they went into a bit of a tailspin and then wound up winning the division.
Watch this matchup down at the bottom of the screen. Kenny Vaccaro, Greg Olsen.
3rd and 8. Underneath to Olsen, who's going to get the first down. And is he out of bounds? No, he stays in, but it's 1st and goal Carolina with the clock running, and the timeout will be used, the last timeout. So the Panthers have no more before the half.
A lot of Rob Ryan's defense start in man and end up in zone, and when Greg Olsen goes across his formation, nobody goes with him. He's wide open on the other side of the field, and it ends up being another big gainer for the tight end.
The speed of Stephon Anthony, though, was key to keep Olsen in bounds and keep him from getting to the end zone, because now with just 14 seconds left, and no timeouts. The pressure on the offense a little bit difficult. Dallas leading Atlanta 21-14. Tampa Bay leading Houston 9-7. Highlights coming up on the Visa Halftime Report. We're glad you're watching the NFL on Fox with Rondé Barber, Chris Myers, Jennifer Hale on the field. Saints led early. David Shula, who has dialed up a couple of Mike Shula, his older brother David, and of course the son of the great coach Don Shula. Cam Newton, end zone throw through the hands of Olsen, and no flags. Damian Swan was right there with him.
Yeah, this was really good coverage by Damian Swan. Cam Newton likes to throw fastballs, and this is a fastball to Greg Olsen. But Damian Swan with great coverage. I'm not sure that he would have got into the end zone. If he would have caught that, it's probably advantageous that he dropped it.
Good point, Rondé, with 10 seconds now, 2nd and goal. You always got the option of Cam with a throw run. But he has to make sure if he keeps it on the ground, he gets in. Cam has it. Newton backing up, floats it for the end zone, and overthrows Funchess just kind of to get rid of it with 4 seconds remaining. And now it looks like the field goal unit with Graham Gano is coming out. A big defensive stand, even after the 4th down success of Carolina. That stand by Rob Ryan's defense.
Well, they needed to make that stop there after the big play to start that drive. You hate giving up plays like that right before before the 2 minutes, because they completely changed the field. But it was, yes, a great job by Rob Ryan's defense to stand up and get a stop here in a field goal opportunity.
This will be a 20-yard try. I mentioned that Gano has had one blocked in each of the first 2 games. This one he delivers on. This is one of those push and pull games in the NFC South, and Carolina Panthers weren't just chatting when they said you ignore the record when you play a division opponent. But one of the stories of this first half is Luke McCown, 16 out of 17, 124 yards. And they got the early lead. Long drives by both of these offenses.
Well, we said it early in this game, and he is very capable of leading an offense in the NFL. Hasn't had many opportunities, but this is a great one for Luke McCown. Love the way he commands the offense, even though he hasn't had a lot of snaps. And it's been positive for the New Orleans Saints in this football game.
Later, we'll take a look as Drew Brees helping him out and anxious. Drew Brees didn't know how to act before the game, just knowing that he wasn't going to be able to play. Again, the first time he's missed a game in his pro career.
But it's good, that he, had the ability really in his own mind to say, for the betterment of the team, I'm not going to play. I'm sure he could have done some things and got himself ready and gone out and played in this game, but Luke McCown gives him a better opportunity. He said that.
Right away, he called Dr. James Andrews after last week. Played that whole game, never missed a snap. Andrews, of course, helped repair that torn labrum 10 years ago in the torn rotator cuff. Tyree Robinson bringing an end to the first half. A low-scoring defensive struggle in Charlotte between a 2-0 and 0-2 teams in the NFC South. Now let's head to Los Angeles. Kurt Menefee and the Visa Halftime Report. Saints ready to kick off to Carolina. They deferred from the start of the game. They'll get the ball here in the 3rd quarter as they battle back in a 10-all tie. Today's excitement brought to you by Nissan. And the Panthers welcoming the 0-2 Saints to town. Luke McCown in New Orleans scored first, but Cam Newton rallied the Panthers to the tie. That was today's excitement brought to you by Nissan. Our spot here in Charlotte with Rondé Barber, Chris Myers, and nice to have you watching. First Sunday in fall. It's been a good battle between these two teams. Let's talk about Carolina on offense getting the ball. Each team has had the ball just 3 times, but they've had long, sustained drives. What do you expect here in the second half?
Well, more of the same. I mean, this has been an offensive battle. 392 yards of offense in the first half, yet there's only 20 points on the board. So give some credit to the defenses stepping up in the red zone on both sides of the ball. But I think we're going to see a lot more of this. Luke McCown has looked outstanding in his relief appearance here of Drew Brees, and we know what Cam Newton is. He runs this offense both with his feet and with his arm, and he's been impressive so far today.
Yeah, the defenses have been moved around a lot. They haven't given up a lot of the big plays. We, of course, had the 52-yard catch by Greg Olsen, who's the leading receiver in the game with already more than 100 yards receiving and 5 catches, and is Cam Newton's go-to guy.
Yeah, he is, and you can always expect Greg Olsen to be involved in this offense, and he creates mismatches. We saw him on linebackers. We've seen him on safeties. He even created that mismatch on Brandon Brown or a corner. So if you don't have him on a leash, so to speak, keeping an eye on him, he's going to burn you, and he's done it time and time again.
We'll watch that in the second half. We'll also watch the first start in what seems like ages for Luke McCown, who's worked the ball around to 9 different receivers, again stepping in for Drew Brees. Cam Newton on a 4th down, getting the team a 1st down, and each team adding a field goal. Cam hasn't run a whole lot today. Of course, haven't had the ball a lot. 3 carries for 8 yards, but makes him count. Drew Brees and Luke Kuechly both anxious, watching on the sideline, hoping to assist their team in way of support any way possible without actually playing on the field. Fozzie Whitaker and Joe Webb standing back in the end zone, hoping to receive the kick from Thomas Mortars. Take over at the 20-yard line. Let's head down to the field and Jennifer Hale.
Well, Chris, Sean Payton told me he's very pleased with how comfortable and poised Luke McCown has been throughout this game. I asked him if he had any words of wisdom for his quarterback at halftime, and he said no. If it's not broken, don't fix it. He did encourage that O-line, though, to make sure they keep up protecting Luke. Don't allow that pocket pressure that we started seeing late in that second quarter. Meanwhile, Ron Rivera, he said some other playmakers are going to need to step up. He's expecting the Saints to target Greg Olsen, and he said he's going to need some other offensive weapons to make an impact. Chris?
Thanks, Jennifer. Stewart in the backfield. 6 carries so far today as Cam Newton fakes to him, and they set up a screen to Mike Tolbert going the other way, slips an ankle tackle and plows his way up to the 34 for a Carolina 1st down. The screen game, that's what the Saints offense usually does so well.
Yeah, and Mike Tolbert, he's just an indispensable player on this team. He's been very active today. See him run the ball, seen him catch the ball out of the backfield. I know we've talked about this in other games that we've had of him. When he was hurt last year, this offense really struggled finding a guy to replace his production.
You see the statistics from the first half. No turnovers in this game. Cam Newton calling Rob Ryan's defense. He says it's like cracking the Da Vinci Code. And he hands it straight ahead to Stewart. And he did right before the half when they trailed in the game and rallied from a slight deficit. Second down, 7 for Carolina. You notice it's almost like body armor. Cam Newton, he said he wears extra padding for all the hits he takes, almost like a soccer player, from shin guards to extra protection around the ribs.
Out Florida, out Florida. Out Florida, out Florida.
Good protection through the hands of Ed Dixon, the backup tight end. It'll be 3rd and 7.
You talk about Cam and all this armor. You know, last year he had the ribs, he had the injury, missed the first 2 games of his career, but he was telling us about those shin guards. I mean, Cam is a big human being. We all know this. But look at, I mean, he looks like a gladiator out there with all that protection. And as much as he runs, Chris probably needs it.
And he plays like a gladiator. First drop of the game by the Panther receivers, and that by the tight end Dixon. Cam Newton has time in the pocket. He's in trouble now, and he's going to go down. Ole Kikaha, the rookie from Washington, with the sack, but Cam had enough time to get rid of that football.
Well, this is the NASCAR package here. They want more athletes on the field. Watch 91 Edibali over here on the right side of your screen working on Michael Orr. Just stay with this rush and keep Cam, discipline this. Keeping Cam in the pocket and allow Kikaha to come make that sack.
The NASCAR package. We're in the home office of NASCAR here in Charlotte, North Carolina. A lot of the race teams nearby. Ball is muffed but picked up by Murphy. And he's going to hurt the Saints field position. There is a flag down as well. Four penalties accepted on Carolina today, 3 on the Saints.
That NASCAR package, just to clarify, is when they put 91 Edebali in the game, Bobby Richardson and Cam Jordan and Kakaha. It's just a more athletic group. And when you have a quarterback like Cam Newton, obviously one of the greatest athletes at the position ever, it gives them an opportunity to keep him more corralled. And you saw it on that last play.
Yeah, they didn't let him run loose out of the pocket. Cam Newton, 12 of 18. He's run only 3 times. Came in averaging 4.5 yards a carry on the ground. Let's check this penalty on the punt.
It looks like they're going to make him re-kick. Still haven't gotten clarification.
Number 21 of the kicking team went out of bounds and did not immediately return. That's a 15-yard penalty. It will be enforced from the previous spot. Replay 4th down.
That's Teddy Williams of the Panthers.
Yeah, when you can get ridden out of bounds by the defenders there, the hold-up guys. But once you go out, you have to immediately come back in. You heard that was a good explanation from Ed Hockley, but he continued to run down that white strip. And the reason the gunners do that, the outside guys do that, is because they're protected. They can no longer get hit from those hold-up guys when they're out of bounds. But if you stay out there too long, it's a penalty.
And aside from an outstanding career as a defensive back with interceptions and sacks, you played special teams.
I love special teams. It was so much fun, especially my special teams coordinator, Rich Bisaccia, who's now in Dallas. He'd let me line up wherever I wanted to on these return units.
And that was something Ron Rivera coming into this season, not that they didn't put a priority on it, but wanted better consistency from his special teams through the course of this season. So Sean Payton had the option of a re-kick. And really that was a fortunate penalty on the Saints side of things because the punt was botched and they were back inside their own 10.
Well, just look how much the field position has changed right now. You know, the returner was back at the 15-yard line. Now he's sitting up at the 35. So that penalty is somewhat disastrous for the special teams unit here of Carolina.
So Nortman standing at his own 5. And Murphy already a gain of almost 20 yards, and he's dashing toward the sideline and has room. Marcus Murphy. It looks like he is going to score a Saints touchdown on a punt return.
Well, Brad Nortman, we know he can boot this ball, but he completely kicked this away from his coverage. You know you're trying to get as much, and obviously we talked about the field position. But this is a great return. There's some key blocks here along the way. And this guy had a great preseason with showing his speed here, running away from an entire unit.
But he did not have much of an impact in the regular season. As we check out the blocks, he had 7 return touchdowns in his career at Missouri, and the 7th round pick goes 74 yards after a 55-yard punt after a penalty gave the Saints the option of the re-kick, and it changes the game dramatically. Botch snap. McCown, what can he do with it? Just go down. Had it been run back by the Panthers, it would have been 2 points had they gotten their hands on the football. Josh Norman making the big play.
Luke McCown is usually sure-handed. That is pretty shocking right there that he dropped that football.
And so is the punt return. Just talking about the Carolina Panthers emphasis, but here's what happened. Maybe a little slick out there. It hasn't rained through much of the game. That's the bad news for the Saints. The good news is the punt return gives them the 6-point lead.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Chevrolet. Find new roads. By Pizza Hut. Bring home the flavor only at Pizza Hut. And by Samsung. Introducing the new Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge Plus and the new Galaxy Note 5.
Picks it up and gets across the 15, shoved back by the Saints. October means baseball. FS1, your home spot for postseason play, American League Division and Championship Series. Don't miss a moment of the drama and all the history. October 8th on FS1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go through to the World Series. Of course, you'll see the World Series on Fox. The Royals, the Blue Jays, the Cardinals, the Mets, Pirates, and Cubs have all clinched playoff spots. And Marcus Murphy with the first punt return for the Saints in 66 games. Darren Sproles The last to do it, he, of course, now in Philadelphia. Playing catch-up, Cam Newton on first down. Wide open is Ted Ginn, and it bounces to him. And there's a flag down back as Cam Newton released the ball at the 10. I mean, Cam Newton, there was nobody near him.
There was nobody near Ted Ginn either on that pass play. More confusion in that Saints secondary.
There were 2 fouls on the play. Holding, number 70, that's declined. Tripping, number 70, that's accepted. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat first down.
Well, a double violation from former LSU star
70 is right here. I mean, that's
Turner.
Probably pretty impressive to get a holding and a tripping. You get beat and then you use your feet.
Well, he's a St. Aug star from New Orleans.
Hey, we laugh at him, but Trey Turner is having a heck of a start to this football season. He ended up being the starter at the end of last year, and he's just continued to build in his development. He's a good player.
So on first and 18, Jonathan Stewart slips a tackle and gets pushed back around the 13. Let's go back. You played special teams, so when you make a team re-kick, what happens?
Absolutely. I love playing special teams, but I love being on the punt return unit. The punt unit, when I was younger in my career, when you had the re-kick, it is such a taxing chore to run down, beat the double teams in the blocks, and then try to make a tackle. So the re-kick was definitely in the favor of the New Orleans Saints there, and it showed on Marcus Murphy's touchdown there.
He is out of breath, but what a game changer. A 74-yard return. Second and 13. Behind Greg Olsen, and here comes a flag in the secondary. And it looks like the Saints. The penalty on the defensive team here.
Before the pass was thrown, illegal contact defense, number 39. It's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot.
That's on Brandon Browner, who has called this a push and pull league.
It is a push and pull league, and when you're 6'3" and 220 pounds, it shows up more when you're holding on to your receiver. Brandon Browner's had a tough couple of games here. He got beat up a little bit in Tampa, keeping his eyes in the backfield. We saw him get run by earlier or right before the half by Greg Olsen, and now the penalty.
Former Seahawk and New England Patriot. Cam Newton still has it. He falls at the 20. That penalty was big because the Panthers were backed up and it gave him a first down. Not a lot of yardage, but a fresh set of downs, and after a 1-yard pickup, it'll be second down here for Cam Newton and this Panther offense.
We're still seeing a lot of varied formations here by Carolina's offense. In and out with 2 tight ends, 3 receivers, 2 running backs. Really keeping this defense off balance, and they really haven't been able to attack Cam Newton.
Cam Newton for Ted Ginn. He's got him. Ted Ginn brought down inside the 25 of New Orleans. Brandon Browner running with him.
I remember Ted Ginn when he first came into the league, and he was in Miami, and I was corner in Tampa. And the one thing they said, do not let that guy get by you. He can absolutely fly. And Cam Newton sees his veteran receiver streaking through the middle of the field, outrunning Brandon Browner again, and it's a huge gain for Carolina.
A gain, Rondé, of 55, and they go right to the line here without a huddle. Philly Brown in motion. Stewart the back. And let's see, there's a whistle, a flag.
Men on the field by the defense before the ball was snapped. The foul was before the play occurred. 5-yard penalty. It's first and 5.
So an alert play by Cam Newton to get everybody up there and be in a hurry to snap the ball and take advantage of that.
Pre-snap penalties have killed New Orleans all year long. I mean, had a bunch of them last week in Tampa. The first week of the year against Tampa. The first week of the year in Arizona. It hampers you on offense and especially on defense. 12 men is inexcusable.
Cam Newton has it. Greg Olsen now has it. That's Greg Olsen's 6th catch of this game, and he is nearing his career best of 119 yards, receiving yards.
Only one catch in week 1, targeted 14 times last week, and so far today he is the primary target for Cam Newton. And he's paying huge dividends for this offense.
That picked up the first down after the 8 of the penalty. Jonathan Stewart, the hole closed in a hurry and knocked down right away. Anthony and Kikaha over there to make the play. You're talking about Ted Ginn, and he has come a long way as a receiver. You said that from your coverage. Ricky Prohl, the fine receivers coach of the Panthers, bragged about how this year he came in and accomplished that. And there's Ted Ginn, mostly known as a return specialist for much of his career in the NFL. But a big 55-yard gainer set him up here.
Well, he's got one of the good young receiver coaches in Ricky Prohl.
Cam Newton, Olsen, touchdown, Carolina.
And there it is again, Chris. Call it RPO. It's the read pass option. You can, or run pass option. You can either hand that ball off. If the defense commits it all, you have the opportunity to pick it up and throw it. And when you got a guy like Greg Olsen that's great running around in zones, I mean, almost that was too easy. That drive was easy. His touchdown was too easy. This Saints defense is reeling a lot on this drive right now.
Well, that 55-yard connection to Olsen is the longest of this season, eclipsing the 52-yarder they teamed up on earlier in the game. The extra point, it's a big difference here because the botched snap with Luke McCown and the Saints after their punt return touchdown. So the Panthers lead by 1 here in the third quarter. Greg Olsen on the receiving end, a career-high 128 receiving yards. With Rodney Barber, Chris Myers, and mentioned the spectacular day that Pro Bowl tight end Greg Olsen has had, a couple of touchdowns. He has one career 3-touchdown game. Well, that's when he was a Chicago Bear. Murphy, who ran the punt back, runs into a wall and bounces up to the 20-yard line. Colin Jones with a big-time special teams hit. Greg Olsen helping the Panthers out to a 1-point third quarter lead.
Today's game is sponsored by Verizon. Watch live local games with NFL Mobile only on Verizon.
You're watching the NFL on Fox with us and the Verizon Wireless backup commercial moments ago with Drew Brees backup. Luke McCown is having a good day despite trailing by a point. And the pass is low but caught by Marcus Colston, and he said time to shine. That's part of the spot there, Rondé, and people quite didn't grasp it. He said, well, what are the chances? Who would have thought that the commercial, right? Talk about art imitating life or vice versa.
Yeah, well, he's taking advantage of his opportunity. That's a fantastic spot, but he has been fantastic in this game. 8 different receivers he's completed the ball to, and he has looked as confident as any starting quarterback in his league.
And Drew Brees, the spokesman with Verizon, so because he was the backup, not just any backup would do for that commercial, they wanted Brees' backup. So he wins in 2 ways. But a penalty here.
Ball start offense, number 64. 5-yard penalty, his first down.
Well, that's nice of Drew to take care of his buddy.
Zach Strief again called for the pre-snap penalty.
Drew hasn't missed a game in who knows how long, so Luke's been here for 3 years and hasn't touched the field, so at least he could do was give him a little bit of love on a commercial.
First game Brees has missed since 1995, junior year at Westlake High in Austin. He blew out his knee. He didn't lose it all in high school and was outstanding in Ironman in college and in the pros. Ingram carries, and Sean Payton telling us he hopes that Brees can play next Sunday night when they play at Dallas. And Payton said, I knew he got hit last week, but I didn't think there was any reason to worry about an injury until I saw some second half passes that were short and never needed medical attention. Drew Brees didn't miss a snap in that game.
Didn't miss a snap, and we couldn't tell. If we did that game, we couldn't tell that he was even injured, though there probably were some indications. And we hope that he's back. He's such a competitor.
In the meantime, McCown with a quick pass to Ingram, who spun around at the 30 and knocked down. It'll be third down. And this was last week when you talked about the pass rush from Tampa Bay and Jack Smith. But in the rotator cuff area, this is the one where Drew seemed to indicate. Now, he indicated in his news conference, too, during the week that he'd had some shoulder tenderness even before all of this, so it may have aggravated the rotator cuff.
Yeah, when you see all that torque that was coming in his arm when he was getting ready to release that thing, he got pretty wound up pretty good by Jack Smith.
On 3rd and 10, caught by Colston. He falls forward, even with the reach. It may not be enough for the first down. Josh Norman and Benet Benwickery were right there with him, and he's the guy that McCown said he is the most comfortable throwing the ball to, Mr. Reliable Marcus Colston.
Well, wouldn't you throw the ball? I mean, this guy's been around forever, and all he does is get open and catch passes.
Sean Payton wants a measurement there.
Well, we had this situation earlier in the game. He's actually on the exact same yard marker here, a 39-yard line going out, and he made the decision to punt. We'll see if he comes back with that same decision.
Yeah, the Panthers are 1 for 1 going for it on 4th. The Saints passed up that opportunity and punted it away.
Well, this is a tentative place to go for it on 4th down, especially. It's still in the 3rd quarter, 6 minutes left in this quarter. I'd be surprised if he gambled on it right now.
It's about a foot, I think he's indicating.
I am wrong. He is bringing his 2 running backs in. And again, this might be another situation where just try to draw them off sides. Need to be disciplined if you're the Carolina defensive line.
Andros Pete comes in, the extra lineman, the 1st-round pick from Stanford.
Yeah, you put your big bodies in there, 3 tight ends, but again, we'll see if it's all window dressing or Luke McCown. Luke's been around a long time. He understands the intricacies of the game, knows how to use his voice, the inflections. See if he can get him on a hard count here. Pick up a cheap first down.
4th down and 1 from inside the Saints 40. They trail by 1. Inside handoff, fullback Austin Johnson.
He did not get it. He did not get this, I don't think.
And that's a play that's worked before. In fact, that worked for a touchdown for the Saints this year. Look, here comes the offensive unit for Carolina already thinking it's their turn on the field, but we haven't received the official notice.
From up here, it didn't look like you get it. Now, of course, these spots are subjective. You can always review it. Yeah, he's putting this on the line. This looks like spotted it as a first down.
Well, a gutsy call by Sean Payton, as you said, backed up in his own territory. And it could be a tipping point in such a tight game. Shows you how the Saints are desperate for a win.
If you remember, Ron Rivera already used one challenge on a spot.
And he got it. First down, Saints. The gamble pays off for Sean Payton.
He's digging in his pocket, but I don't think he's going to pull out the challenge flag. Ron Rivera. Yeah, that was close.
Man, here comes the flag.
Oh, he did.
He's going to challenge.
He got whoever his guy is upstairs said, "Hey, look, we just saw the replay." And
Luke Kuechly
short.
Reacting to the live call. 1 for 1 in this game, winning the challenge. Ron Rivera challenging the spot.
Carolina is challenging the ruling on the field that the play resulted in a first down.
So ruled a first down for the Saints. The Panthers challenging. Ruled a first down on the field, challenged by Ron Rivera, and after further review,
the ruling on the field stands. There is no video shot that shows the ball short of the line of game. It is therefore a first down. Timeout is charged to Carolina, and that's their final challenge.
And our rules analyst, Mike Pereira, said all it takes is the tip of the ball, and it didn't look like there was enough to overturn this.
Yeah, from different angles, it almost looks like he didn't get to that white line, but there's just not enough evidence there to overturn that.
And the loss of a timeout.
Yeah, loss of a timeout is big for Carolina. It's a one-point game. It comes down to it. They're one short at the end of the game.
Crowd didn't agree with the official review, but it's a fresh set of downs for the Saints from their own 40. Mark Ingram shoved back by A.J. Klein. The flag thrown on the play. I mean, as soon as he got the ball, Klein was there.
That's because Coney Ely, who Ron Rivera called his
illegal hands to the face, defense number 94. 5-yard penalty for the previous spot. Automatic first down.
I was just getting ready to throw some platitudes on him, but he gets illegal hands to the face. He's over here on the right side of your screen. And teams trying to run at this side of this defense have failed miserably this year. It's because he's done all this dirty work, standing up that blocker right there and allowing A.J. Klein to come in free. I'm not sure that his hand was in his face mask there, Chris.
He was arguing. 7th penalty accepted against Carolina from the 45-yard line. First down Saints. McCown has time. He's airing it out deep. Brandon Coleman, and he can't hang on off his fingertips. Charles Tillman running right there with him. $19 out of 21 passes so far for McCown.
Oh, he finally took a shot down the field. You know, Luke's been throwing a lot of short, intermediate route type combinations. He's been efficient. It was the first time we've seen today him really take a shot. A good play by the Carolina secondary there.
Something Drew Brees couldn't do in the second half last week is get the ball beyond 25-30 yards because of the rotator cuff injury. McCown completes short of the ball, comes out on the back end, and the Panthers have it. Roman Harper, the longtime Saint, with the recovery. Ben Watson looked like he caught it, and it came out in a hurry. This will be reviewed as all turnovers are.
And this one's going to be close. I mean, it almost looked to me that Ben Watson's knees were on the ground when this ball came out. Nice throw and catch, good completion. Let's see if that left knee is down. No, I mean, that picture right there, that ball is out. So this will stand as a turnover for the Carolina defense.
And Thomas Davis forcing that fumble. It's the first turnover of the game.
And great job by Thomas Davis. You can make tackles. You can make tackles, but this team, we know Charles Tillman does it well, but when you tackle the football, you create turnovers. It's a big one for the Panthers.
Ruled fumble on the field, recovery Carolina, being reviewed upstairs. Ruled Saints fumble, Carolina recovery on the field, a booth review, and the officials have looked.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. The receiver caught the ball, became a runner, then fumbled the ball, recovered by Carolina. First down.
So after a big 4th down gamble, the ball is given up. And here's the angle, Rondé.
Yeah, that's the conclusive angle that they saw, and that ball's clearly coming out before his knee touched down on the ground. Good job by the referees here, calling this a fumble and not having to allow Carolina to have to challenge, which probably would have gone their way. But
that's a good point. When it's ruled a turnover or a touchdown, and it's quickly reviewed by the officials as Cam Newton floats this for Ted Ginn and knocked away. Ginn wasn't even looking, and Brandon Browner was back there running. But let's go back to that fumble because it's the first turnover of the game, and it was Sean Payton who talked about that. They put special emphasis on it this week. They always do, of protecting the football, and Sean Payton telling his players, you're carrying the hopes and dreams of every member of this football team when you hold that football.
Well, yeah, Chris, this is a different Saints team. They don't have the margin of error to be able to compensate for those turnovers. They don't score enough points so far this year, so when they lose possession, they generally put themselves in a place to lose a game.
Jonathan Stewart. He's got a first down near the 45 of New Orleans, one of his better runs of the day.
Great block on the outside there by Andrew Norwell to spring Jonathan Stewart on that run. See Norwell, he's a guard right there, getting out in front of his running back and really takes out 2 guys there, both the corner and the safety. Springs a big gain for Carolina.
Still looking for his first touchdown of 2015. Stewart with 10 carries today. And this time met hard, wrapped up, falls forward. Kenny Vaccaro, who has been used as a Swiss Army knife by Rob Ryan in that defense, coming up to make the stop. A variety of positions.
Yeah, he's a productive player, Kenny Vaccaro, especially this year. He said he dedicated a lot more time to film study, getting himself prepared for the season. I don't think last year he had the year that he would have won it in his second year, but he's been extremely active in this Saints secondary all season.
Mike Tolbert inside the 42. Again, Vaccaro making the tackle. Just over 3 minutes to go here in the third quarter. And a Saints drive stalls on the turnover. McCown 20 out of 22. Cam Newton 15 out of 22 against this Saints defense. And he has run 4 times on 3rd and 5. Cam Newton with time. And now he's going to keep and get the first down.
My goodness.
We know there's no such thing as Superman, but he comes close.
My goodness, Chris.
At least on the football field.
That was ridiculous right there.
I mean, if you're a defender, what are you going to do?
Nothing. You got their NASCAR package in here again, all these athletes, and it just doesn't matter. Cam Newton is so elusive. I love how he stays in the pocket here. His eyes are downfield looking to maybe get this ball away, but eventually, you get to about 6 or 7 Mississippi. He's like, you know what? I can get this on my own.
A lot of Mississippis with him out there.
Impressive. This guy is just impressive. He continues to get better and better in this offense.
After the 9-yard run, he gives to Stewart, who gets inside the 30. Clock continues to run. Get a game break. Say hi again to Kurt Menefee. Kurt?
Well, hi there, Chris. Atlanta keeps battling against the Cowboys. Julio Jones over 100 yards receiving, 45 on this touchdown reception. They had a 2-point conversion, and it's now a field goal game in the third quarter.
Thanks, Kurt. Brandon Wheaton, who is the backup for Tony Romo, having a good game for Dallas. Of course, Jay Cutler is out. Chicago playing Seattle later. And Luke McCown doing a decent job for Drew Brees. Cam Newton, incomplete. He was pressured, threw it in the area of Jonathan Stewart.
Well, this Saints defense, and especially the defensive front, has had a tough time creating or generating a pass rush all year. Haven't seen much of it today. His pocket's been clean for Cam. He's had a bunch of time to find his receivers. And my thoughts coming into this game were that Carolina or New Orleans is going to have to make Cam beat you by throwing the football, because he's such a good runner. That's how he's been winning all year with the read option. But today, Cam has been winning this game with his arm.
Yeah, he's done that with the 2 touchdown passes and 265 yards through the air.
Timeout, Carolina. That's their second. It's a 30-second timeout.
On 3rd and 7, so the Panthers will have only 1 timeout remaining. This fall, Fox brings you an hour of all-star comedy. We've got Grandfathered with John Stamos and Josh Beck, The Grinder with Rob Lowe and Fred Savage, and the fall's funniest premieres this Tuesday on Fox. We've seen some grinders in this game today and some big plays. The punt return by Marcus Murphy, and of course,
New Orleans fans traveling. How about that?
Yeah, they do travel well. Every day's Mardi Gras for Saints fans. 3 of 6 on 3rd down for Carolina. Right now you're looking at a 47-yard field goal if they don't get the first. Pressure picked up. Cam Newton for Funchess, the rookie. Incomplete. Damian Swan was running with him. A 2nd-round pick from Michigan. So on 4th and 7, here comes Graham Gano. He made a short field goal earlier in the game of 20 yards. The threat of a block has been there, as we pointed out. I'm sure the Saints are well aware.
He's a line drive kicker when you get to these longer distances. He's had 2 of them hit right back in his face already this year.
From 47 yards, it's up there, it's out there, and right down the middle there. And now it's a 4-point Carolina lead. The Panthers and the Saints join the NFL and all 32 clubs in celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. You can visit NFL.com/Hispanic Heritage to hear stories about the Latino culture from around the NFL. And Ron Rivera proud of his Hispanic Latino heritage. And some of the NFL coaches in history. Tom Fears, the first Saints coach. Tom Flores. Hispanic Heritage Month around the NFL. Well, Ron Rivera with a 4-point lead. And hoping his defense can figure out Luke McCown, who it hasn't been his fault that the Saints haven't been able to score here in the second half.
Yeah, Luke McCown continues to impress us today. He's getting his opportunity, and he's shining in his opportunity. I love the commercial. We talked about it earlier. But it's comforting for a coach, Sean Payton, to have a guy like this. Been around 12 years in the NFL. Has never really been a starter, except for maybe for 5 games when he was
down short of the 14-yard line. Fonzie Whitaker, whose given name is Foswit, making the special teams play. When you talk about Luke McCown, his backup today is Garrett Grayson, the rookie from Colorado State. He's the first draft pick at quarterback by the Saints, taken in the first 3 rounds since Archie Manning in 1971.
That's crazy.
Tells you how the position has been handled by Drew Brees. There is Grayson.
You know, Coach Sean Payton told us too that with Luke in the game, the offense it's seamless. It runs the same. If Garrett Grayson has to come into the game, obviously it would have to change. He's young. He doesn't have a full grasp of it.
Emergency quarterback would be Willie Snead in this position. Underneath, complete. And speaking of Snead, the free agent receiver from Ball State, great effort, getting up just short of the first down. Well, new this season, stream live local Sunday afternoon games right on your smartphone with NFL Mobile. Second down 1, just over a minute to go. I'm sure that's what's great when you have the NFL Mobile. You can go to the game and then watch it as well. Of course, you can also talk to your friends and say, I'm at the game. Give your own version of play-by-play. Tyree Robinson.
Nobody does it like you, Chris.
Can he get the first down? The Panthers are saying no on second down short. And he'll actually lose a little on that, so it'll bring up 3rd down and 2. Hundreds and hundreds of plays on that playlist for Sean Payton, who told us too, I sometimes have to write down little thoughts just for myself, like stay positive or be aggressive, just because I'm also, the head coach and the play caller.
Much talk about him giving up play calling duties, but trust me, this is his offense. He's been running it since he was in New York. He's not giving them up yet.
Throwing on 3rd and 2 and overthrew. In the middle of the field, he had Josh Hill open. There's a flag down in the backfield.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 99. Took extra steps and pushed the quarterback to the ground. 15 yards, automatic first down.
K1 short called for that penalty that'll give the Saints a first down. Charles Johnson is the injured Panther.
You could tell it was a clear penalty. But most important, though, was Charles Johnson here walking off to the field with some sort of leg injury, maybe hamstring, I'm not sure.
Yeah, he came in with a hamstring that was bothering him.
That's right, and he's a big loss. This Carolina front four, aside from Mario Addison, who had a big first week in Jacksonville, hasn't created many pressure. He's at the top of your screen up here on this pass play. He's working on Zach Strief, and when you get those hamstrings and you get just have a little bit of effort pushed on it, it sometimes re-aggravates, and it looks like that's what happened.
So a double loss for the Panthers with Johnson out of the penalty gives the Saints a first down at their own 36-yard line. Mark Ingram stops short of the 38, and that will bring an end to the third quarter. A quarter which has seen some spectacular plays, but Cam Newton and the Panthers have the upper hand over the Saints. Start of the fourth quarter with Rondé Barber, Chris Myers. Glad you're watching the NFL on Fox from Charlotte, North Carolina. As Drew Brees watching Luke McCown, his backup. Brees missing his first game in his, what many believe is a Hall of Fame career at age 36. Cam Newton has the Panthers out to a 4-point lead. Luke Kuechly missing his second straight game. Spiller with a carry. Brought down across the 41 by A.J. Klein.
You know, as you prepare for backup quarterbacks, it's sometimes hard. You know, we're talking about Luke McCown's his start. He's 21 to 23. It's hard to get a feel for what they're doing because usually when you're getting ready on defense, you have all that film to watch. You get a feel for his rhythm and his timing and where he likes to go with the ball. But when you haven't got any film on a guy, it's tough to get ready to play a backup quarterback.
On 3rd and 4, Tyree Robinson hit hard. Stunned by Thomas Davis.
Man, this guy right here now, talk a lot about Luke Kuechly on this defense. But this veteran, this leader, he personifies leadership. But man, look at that hit. That was intense.
Well, that'll bring up 4th down. And here is Morstead. Ted Ginn back to receive. You talk about a backup quarterback. They did prepare for Luke McCown this week, although the Panthers didn't know until Friday that Drew Brees was definitely not going to play in this game. Fair catch called for. Backs up to the 12, where the Carolina offense will take over. There's only one place on television where bad is good. This season of Gotham, villains will rise to a new level of criminal chaos. Gotham, Rise of the Villains. Catch an all-new episode tomorrow, right here on Fox. Let's check in down on the field with Jen Hale.
Well, Chris, bad news for this Carolina defense. Defensive end Charles Johnson is now out for the rest of this game with a hamstring injury. He had to be helped to the cart, and as he was being carted into the locker room, I could see him holding that right hamstring in pain. So hopefully he will be able to make a quick recovery for the weeks ahead, Chris.
All right, thank you, Jen. The offense now protecting a 4-point lead, but backed up in their own end zone area. Cam Newton has time to throw, and now he's on the move. And gets rid of it under heavy pressure. Out of bounds. No flag over there. Tyler Davison applied the pressure. And Hockley said, shaking his head. There's no late hit there.
Well, Cam is pretty good at flopping.
He's a runner out of the pocket.
He's trying to draw a penalty here, I think.
Well, they just showed it here, but you know where the fans' loyalty lies. You can't blame them. That's their guy. 2nd and 10. Handoff Stewart. Jonathan Stewart fighting hard to get up to the 20, just short. It'll bring up 3rd and short. And Stewart in pain, slow to get up. He had a strong finish last year, had been out 19 games since the start of 2012 because of injury.
Yeah, he's essential. He got great balance, bounces off so many tacklers, and if he's hurt.
And Fozzie Whitaker will come in for him.
And say if he's hurt, it's a definite blow to this offense. Obviously, Mike Tolbert, Fozzie Whitaker can handle the role. They have Curtis Artis-Payne, who's not up today, that can be a runner for this team as well, but he's such a vital part to this offense.
3rd down and 2 for the Saints defense. An important spot to try to give the offense a chance to get the ball back. Cam Newton will throw to Whitaker, and Fozzie Whitaker has a 1st down. Carolina all the way up near the 35, working his way up the sideline.
More zone coverage here by New Orleans, and Fozzie Whitaker is pretty unobstructed there. There's nobody going with him to the flat. the double screen set up, fake to one side and go to the other. They pick up a crucial first down there.
A gain of 14 when they only needed 2. 12.5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Cam Newton, he held on, and there's a flag. Devin Funchess, the rookie, with a grab going to the ground.
Well, this is clearly a
personal foul, unnecessary roughness, contact with defenseless receiver, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Seen a lot of clean hits over the years. Listen to this hit. To the head and neck area is the key to this foul.
That's rookie on rookie.
Shoulder pad at the top of his head. I mean, that was an easy call for. And the rookie, Stephon Anthony, who's a really good football player, is going to have a nice FedEx in his locker. He gets in the Saints camp next week.
14-yard gain, and then the penalty. Ted Ginn. He tackled at the 30, reaching forward. Damian Swann over there staying with him. But the Panthers are doing what they have done well this season, chewing up the clock and moving the football when they have the lead.
It is a methodical offense, isn't it, Chris? Mike Shula loves to be conservative and then take shots at you, and we've seen that all day today. A lot of this read option stuff sets up the play action pass. And we've seen a variety of options work out well for Carolina today.
Time again, Cam Newton underneath for a first down. Ed Dixon to the 21 of New Orleans.
Again, Chris, this no pressure coming from this Saints defensive front. This pocket is so clean for Cam Newton. And Mike Grimmer's over here working on Hawoli Kakaha. Is just they're dominating up front. It's just he has all the time in the world to throw this football. Again, some sort of breakdown in the Saints secondary as well.
Cam Newton over 300 yards passing today. First down from the 21 of the Saints. Cam Newton is going to keep.
This offensive line is noted last week. They won against Houston. They did a great job against J.J. Watt. Mike Grimmers, Trey Turner, that side of the line dominated one of the best players in football. It's just more of the same today.
Second down, 8 from the 19. Mike Tolbert driving the defender back inside the 14. They'll bring up third down and short. Just over 10 minutes to play. Grinding it out on the ground. Leading rusher in the game, Jonathan Stewart, left injured. 13 carries, 52 yards. Ingram leads the Saints in rushing, but that has not been a strong suit for them today. Another time-consuming drive. Cam Newton already with 2 touchdown passes.
New Orleans needs another stop here in the red zone. Can't allow them to score a touchdown here.
Timeout.
That's their last one. That's their last
Carolina
timeout.
has run out. Well, Cam Newton talked about this offseason going back to Auburn to earn that degree in sociology, something he promised his mom. And I bring that up because he really has emerged working on different parts of his game.
Yeah.
You know, he's a runner. He's talked about improving on his accuracy, high percentage passes, and being a better leader for this team. So far, so good.
Well, he's got a 300-yard passing game going today. 400 yards of offense for this Carolina team is kind of abnormal, but it's been on the strength of his arm. And we mentioned earlier that New Orleans was going to have to make him beat him throwing the football, because Cam has a tendency to be inaccurate at times. But he's been dead on today. He's driven this offense down the field numerous times. He's at it again now.
Worth pointing out, Calvin Benjamin, his #1 receiver from last year, has been out for the entire year. But Jericho Cotchery, who he said was his most reliable receiver, not playing today because of a high ankle sprain. So Greg Olsen is always scaring the loaded tight end on the receiving end.
Hey, Disco, even power! Disco, even power! Disco, even power!
Cam Newton has it, and he's going to keep it. No flip, touchdown Panthers.
Heard the check at the line of scrimmage, not sure if it was a dummy call or if he was just giving himself this opportunity. I think he probably was meant to hand this thing off, and when he saw them commit, he pulled it down and ran it himself. He had options to throw that thing, and Cam is great. He always gives balls.
He's working the crowd like he's running for office.
In the crowd, yeah, he's great. But this was athletic Cam at his best right there.
13-yard touchdown run and a happy fan with a souvenir. Graham Gano to make it 27-16. It's the 26th game. We mentioned this at the start of the broadcast. He's added to it. And his teammates are thoroughly impressed.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Burger King. Kick off fall with a new Oreo Pumpkin Spice Cake. By Xbox One, the official game console of the NFL. And by Lowe's. Hurry in this week for great fall savings.
Cam Newton, 9th career 300-yard passing game, and now he's got a touchdown run to go with his 2 touchdown passes. Marcus Murphy, who has the punt return for a touchdown, watches it sail through. And the talk of the week around the NFL was this fantastic flip against the Texans by Cam Newton. At one time, the Saints led 10-0. Now they trail 27-16. McCown to Brandon Cooks. And he gets a Saints first down. Mentioned the flip by Cam Newton, and he told you that he liked as a kid playing on a trampoline. They had one down the street. That's when he learned to jump and flip so well.
This is Cam Newton's empire here now in Carolina. He looks like he's having so much fun when he's playing football, doesn't he? It's just, always has that big, gregarious smile on his face. It's infectious around here.
Ken Dorsey, who works with Mike Shula so well with Cam to develop these offensive game plans and then let Cam do what Cam does. Behind Brandon Coleman, and incomplete. Let's get a game break and check in again with Kurt Menefee.
Well, the good news for the Steelers is they lead at St. Louis, but this could be some really bad news as Ben Roethlisberger, hit low by Mark Barron, had to be carted off the field with a left knee injury. He's done for the day. Michael Vick now in relief, completed 2 of his first 3. It's a field goal game late in the 4th, but obviously big worries right now for the Steelers. Chris Ronde?
Yeah, and Kurt, for week 3 in the league, another backup forced to play. We've talked about Jay Cutler, Tony Romo, Drew Brees, all out in their respective games, and the pressure on Luke McCown. Mark Ingram will bring up 3rd down.
For a guy that hasn't had to deal with this kind of pressure, we're going to see how it affects him here. Started off such quick success in this game, but the offense has gotten pretty stagnant here in the second half. He's dealing with the 3rd and long situation, a situation where he has to get a first down here.
It's still only a 2-score game. If the Saints get a touchdown, a 2-point conversion, and a field goal, they can tie. Luke McCown has time and has Snead for a first down at midfield.
He really looks cool in the pocket still. He answered my question right away. That was a big 3rd down that they needed to complete. He stood tall in that pocket and waited for Snead. You see Snead there in the bottom of this bunch right here. This play takes some time to develop, and Luke is just confident as anything delivering that ball for a first down.
Only the 10th start today in his 12-year NFL career, and his older brother Josh McCown playing at home against the Raiders for the Cleveland Browns. Oakland winning that game 27-13. The McCowns hoping to rally today. Luke McCown on the run. And he will keep and go out of bounds, getting back near the line of scrimmage. Carolina at one point, as we said, trailed 10-0. They've gone outscored the Saints 27-6 since that time. And the offense for the Saints getting the big punt return for the touchdown.
We thought at the time that was going to be a crucial turning point in the game. You know, when Marcus Murphy had that punt return for a touchdown, but the offense has not yet matched what Carolina has done on the other side of the ball. They're going to need to right now.
That was officially ruled a sack, but no loss, so it's 2nd and 10. McCown on target, reaching high and coming down with it is Marcus Colston. Inside the 30 of Carolina.
Big completion there. A nice connection with the two veterans here. Marcus Colston's done this his whole career, finding an area behind zones. A.J. Klein, you saw him run into your picture there. I think he was a little late in coverage, but another nice throw. Confident throw again by Luke McCown.
Last time McCown threw a touchdown pass was 2007 when he was with Tampa Bay. He and the Saints need one here. Just over 6 minutes to play. After a gain of 22, Mark Ingram and the ground game just hasn't been able to break one against this Carolina defense.
No, they really haven't. I thought we would see a lot more of Kyrie Robinson today. Last week, he was the energy in this offense in the second half. But I think because they've fallen behind some in this game, the balance has somewhat shifted a little bit in the play calling, and they've had to rely on Luke McCown's arm somewhat, and so you don't get as many opportunities for all three of the running backs to get their touches.
You see the rushing yard totals in this game. Carolina doubling practically the Saints. Underneath, Ingram, who came in as the leading rusher and receiver, covered by Shaq Thompson, the Carolina rookie from Washington.
Isn't he impressive, Chris? This guy does a lot of things. He's had to step up his game now that Luke Kuechly's out. He's getting a lot of the third down opportunities with Thomas Davis on the field. But we all know if you followed him in college, man, he did everything. He's a running back. He's a punt returner. Impressive young player.
3rd down and 3. McCown on target to C.J. Spiller. What a perfect play to give the Saints a 1st and goal.
Yeah, you said it. Nice play call here. You know Carolina's going to be in some sort of man coverage, and C.J. Spiller is a free releaser. Thomas Davis is trying to run through that screen there by Marcus Colston. He's just not fast enough to keep up with C.J. Spiller. The running backs of this offense, Chris, have been primary targets in the passing game. Week 1, they caught 13 passes. Last week, they had a bunch of receptions and another big play here.
2nd catch of the game for Spiller. A pickup of 19. Kyrie Robinson checks in the game. He gets the pitch. Kyrie Robinson, touchdown Saints. And we could assume that the Saints will go for 2. And then if they convert, they would only need a field goal to tie.
That was a really cool play design there. They had the ghost motion by the receiver. It kind of pulled the eyes of the defense towards Brandon Cooks, I believe it was that receiver. And it left the corner of that defense just wide open for an easy touchdown there for Kyrie Robinson.
Saints have tried once to get 2 and failed. Critical here to keep it a field goal distance. Now remember, if there is a penalty on the Saints and it pushes them back, then they can switch and go to extra point if they want. And I don't know if they're discussing where they place the ball on which hash mark.
Yeah, watch the offensive line here. You see they slant the line away.
4:50 on the clock.
They were putting time on the clock. That's what they were doing. If we missed that announcement. But then you had the motion there that drew the defense away from the direction of the play. It was a really easy touchdown. Well designed play there by Sean Payton.
And 2-point conversions are up. The attempts this year around the league. Again, this could be returned by Carolina for 2 points. To get within 3, McCown on the move. End zone throw off the hands of Marcus Colston. It's a big miss.
Well, he was looking for Snead down there in the flat. And of note, they put this ball on the left hash, just didn't have enough time. Now it's still a 2-score game.
Today's game is sponsored by the Quesarito and Volcano Quesarito Big Boxes. Grab them at Taco Bell.
Well, Cam Newton has the Panthers out in front by 5, so missing on the 2-point conversion means a field goal doesn't tie. The Saints obviously need 2 field goals or a touchdown to get the lead as the kick sails through for a touchback. And the Panthers on offense, leading 27-22. Will they stay unbeaten? Will the Saints get their first win of 2015? Last time the Panthers had the football, Cam Newton marched him 88 yards and went into the end zone for the touchdown. Jonathan Stewart has checked back in. Remember, he left injured earlier in this half. He gets the carry, waiting for blocks, and won't get many. Let's get a game break. Check it again with Kurt Menefee. Kurt?
Well, the Atlanta Falcons have scored 25 unanswered points. Julio Jones, his second touchdown of the game. He's also got 164 yards receiving inside the 2-minute warning. Atlanta's rolling 39-28. Chris, Rondé, and Jen.
And Kurt, the Falcons on their way to 3-0. That's what the Panthers want to do, both in the NFC South. Of course, Tampa Bay trailing in the fourth quarter to Houston 16-9. Saints just called a timeout. They're trying to save some clock time. They'll have 2 timeouts remaining. And the 2-minute warning. October meets baseball. FS1, your home for postseason action. The American League Division and Championship Series. Don't miss a moment. A lot of drama, a lot of history. Begins October 8th on FS1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Cam Newton right at the 25. It'll bring a third down as Greg Olsen goes to the ground.
Yeah, the Saints are take that timeout, and you're telling themselves that they have to get a stop here. You start taking timeouts trying to save the clock, you have to get off on third down. They played a lot of zone coverage today, Chris, and Greg Olsen and these receivers have found a lot of holes in it. Rob Ryan's going to have to dial up some sort of man, something to keep these receivers in close coverage and see if they can get off here. First down kills them.
Third down and 4 for the Panthers. Cam Newton, pressure, steps up, fires, and the receiver fell down. Bretton Burson, and there are no flags. A break for the Saints defense, and it's fourth down.
Good job by Rob Ryan's unit there. They've had to make some key stops in this game. They had a couple of red zones. Burson, they are playing man-to-man, and he's open. Just Cam delivers a ball to a receiver that's falling down, and there was no penalty there. He fell on his own accord.
And stopped short of the 29-yard line. That's where Luke McCown and the offense will take over. Trailing by 5. Now Brandon Cooks has 4 catches in the game, and he's the receiver for Sean Payton's offense, who said we need to get our mojo working. He's a guy who can be explosive for this offense.
Well, they have time to be patient here with their offense. They don't have to get this all back right away.
Especially with no timeouts for Carolina. The Saints have 2 in the 2-minute warning. Mark Ingram up across the 30. Chance of defense from this crowd in Charlotte. Is Luke McCown up to the task? So far, he has been. Complete to Ingram, who gets a first down. Initially looked like he would be stopped right away. And a couple of players going beyond the whistle afterward. The officials quick to separate.
You know, last week when New Orleans was down, they were real conservative in their play calling. And again, I think Sean Payton is being patient with this offense right now. He knows that he doesn't have to score right away. Got the 2-minute warning for a timeout. Quarterback that's played excellent today. I think he'll continue to take his time here moving this ball down the field.
27 out of 30 for Luke McCown, over 240 yards. Steps up and fires. Snead dropped it. And he's frustrated.
Oh, he should be. That was a perfectly thrown ball there by Luke McCown. He's been so sharp today. And Willie Snead has been a big target. This is in his hands. Clearly should have been a catch. But continue to be impressed with the way Luke McCown is handling himself.
And the other advantage you have, which Sean Payton didn't have last week, was McCown can air it out deep, whereas Drew Brees was limited with that shoulder rotator cuff injury. Underneath to Colston, and he drops it. There's a flag down at the 40.
Illegal shift offense. Number 82 was never set. 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Yeah, they came to the line so fast and tried to get a quick snap there, and Ben Watson just wasn't set.
It actually is a break because it gives them an extra down, or in this case 2, maybe 3 downs to get the first down. I don't know that the Saints would give the ball back to the Carolina offense unless they give it up on downs. Looks like a free play. Mark Ingram. Go nowhere. Flag is out. Atlanta rallied to beat Dallas.
Offside defense, number 97. 5-yard penalty, repeat second down.
Well, they had the wrong play lined up there for an offsides player. If that would have been any play down the field instead of a little slip screen to the running back, he could have just taken a shot down the field. As it stands, it's 2nd and 10 now. He got those 5 yards back.
So the Cowboys no longer in the unbeaten category. Carolina trying to get to 3-0. 9 teams were 2-0 coming into the weekend. The Panthers among them. On 2nd and 10. McCown. And Marcus Colston not able to handle it, but Ben Wickery put a lot of heat on there.
Yeah, good play. Yeah, good play there by Ben Wickery. This ball was a little behind his receiver, and really good break. Drew Brees is still into this football game. Big third down here, Chris.
On 3rd and 10. Catch made, first down. Brandon Cooks, one of the smallest targets on the field. And that'll take us to the 2-minute warning. A fresh set of downs. The Saints need a touchdown to take the lead. So far, backup Luke McCown delivering for the Saints in place of Drew Brees. C.J. Spiller checks in. Luke McCown has 1 game-winning drive in his career. That was for Tampa Bay against New Orleans in 2007. Trailing by 5, Cooks. Brandon Cooks with some blocks with a first down around the 28-yard line of Carolina.
Smart by Cooks to get out of bounds there.
Drew Brees, first time he's missing a game as a pro at age 36. He's in on every, it's as if he's playing. When they clap from the huddle, he does. He wets his fingers as if he was taking the snap.
That's a great picture, man. That's the guys like that. The intensity of the game, just You know he's in there. Noted too here, Chris. Thomas Davis is out of the game. Not sure why. It's Shaq Thompson and A.J. Klein at the middle linebackers, or at the inside linebacker positions.
Luke McCown is incomplete, off the hands of Colston. The second drop by him on this drive, the third by the Saints.
Yeah, uncharacteristic Marcus Colston to drop any football. He's got great hands. He's been doing it a long time. Understands the importance of it. I'm surprised that ball hit the ground.
McCown has attempted 35 passes today, completed 29 of those against Ron Rivera's defense.
And this defense is in this 2-minute situation. They're going to allow some chunk plays. They're not need to challenge because a field goal doesn't beat them. They don't mind them getting down to the field.
Hand off Ingram. Saints still have 2 timeouts. Carolina with none. You see on the scoreboard the little yellow lights that are on indicates.
You get in this situation almost every single week, Chris. Most games in the NFL, 75 or 70-some% come down to a 2-minute drive to win or lose. So somebody on either side of this team is going to have to stand up and make a play.
On third down, McCown for Cooks, and it's intercepted. Josh Norman. The first mistake of the day by Luke McCown.
But that was a spectacular play by Josh Norman. Haven't had much opportunity to talk about this kid today. He has been awesome to start this season.
He's held on him on the sideline when the ball was released. Josh Norman had that game-winning interception return in the opener for Carolina against Jacksonville. Has his second interception. This may be a game saver. Cameron Artis-Payne, the rookie running back, checks in. 2 timeouts for the Saints. And the rookie gets the carry. It's brought down right away. 5th-round draft pick from Auburn and a timeout used by New.
But man, what a way to possibly seal a victory for Carolina by Josh Norman there.
Well, as you said, a terrific play by Norman. Had he let him a little more, it wasn't a bad decision or a bad play. It was just an excellent reaction by Josh Norman, who has his 3rd takeaway this season, a fumble to go with the 2 picks.
You almost feel bad for Luke McCown right now. Such a special game he was having. And when it came down to crunch time, he was driving his team down the field for a potential winning score and throws the interception.
Now you've got Fozzie Whitaker and Jonathan Stewart, but Artis-Payne remains the back, and the rookie carries again. That'll bring a 3rd down. The Saints use their last timeout with 58 seconds left, so we'll have to do a little back timing here, but this 3rd down obviously seals it if Carolina can get the first down. If not, they'll at least be forced into a 4th down situation, whether they want to punt, try and run out the clock. Next week at NFL on Fox doubleheader, the Panthers will take on the Buccaneers, who are still trailing 16-9 in the 4th quarter in Houston. You'll see other regional action, and then America's Game of the Week. The Packers and Aaron Rodgers take on the 49ers. Some will see the Vikings, Broncos, or the Rams, Cardinals. Coverage all begins 11 Eastern on Fox. Well, it depends when they snap the football after the timeout on 3rd down. All right, so now it's 4th down and the clock runs. No timeouts remaining. The Saints will be at home with Dallas for Sunday night, then at Philadelphia, home with Atlanta and Indianapolis. Meanwhile, Carolina, and it's important to keep their start going because the Panthers will be at Tampa Bay. They get a bye, and then they're at Seattle, and then home with the Eagles, Colts, Packers. Tough schedule coming up.
They got some good quarterbacks coming here in the next couple of weeks.
So you see the play clock and the game clock. You could have the punter just run around back there. Have a delay of game. Remember,
Well, actually, it's funny you mentioned that because my last year in the league, Greg Schiano was our coach, and we practiced plays like this.
Well, you could also take a safety
yes,
if you wanted.
take a safety.
Just, you don't want to give. And here's a guy who ran a punt back in Marcus Murphy already for a touchdown today.
Yeah, I don't see any reason whatsoever why they kicked this ball to Marcus Murphy.
Well, maybe if Brad Nortman runs around enough to kill the clock and take the safety. Let's see how they play it. Oh, so they put more time back on the clock. A clock adjustment on the field by the official. Bonus coverage of the Eagles and Jets coming up. Undefeated New York Jets, winless Eagles. Philadelphia leads by 7 in that game. Same kind of matchup here. And Nortman is going to boom it away. It's going to be a short kick. Fair catch called for by Murphy with, well, the clock is running here.
I think I would have done the other option. I think I would
have let it bounce.
I would have let him run around back there, let the punter run around, take the safety.
Well, you fair catch it, the clock should stop, but it was running here. So let's see how much time. That's what they're going over here.
10 seconds. 10 seconds on the game
10
clock.
seconds, Ed Hockley says, on the game clock. And that's where it stands.
Well, because they decided to punt this ball to New Orleans, you give them the opportunity. If you run the thing around and put it in the end zone and take the safety, there's no time. All you got to do is hit the after kick safety. But now Luke McCown's got a strong arm, can throw this thing down the field.
For Brandon Cooks, he gets out of bounds, so it puts him at the 45-yard line. And maybe time for another quick throw, maybe 2, or a deep toss to the end zone if McCown can get it there. A touchdown wins it for the Saints. McCown flips down the sideline. Mark Ingram brought down, and that is it. The Panthers will go to 3-0. The Saints will fall to 0-3. The defending champions back-to-back of the NFC South hold off a terrific performance from backup quarterback Luke McCown, over 300 yards passing. But the interception late by Josh Norman sealed the victory. With Rondé Barber and Chris Fyers and Jen Hale, we hope you stay with us. Bonus coverage is coming up, and we'll have more from Charlotte in a moment.